Look Before You Leap is the 16th episode of the third season of Frasier. This is directed by the wonderful James Burrows, and as always, there will be spoilers from now as I talk about the episode. And this is a really enjoyable episode. I don't have too many thoughts, but there are a couple of things that I rather enjoyed. I think some things that are quite unpredictable, and as I said, there will be spoilers as I go through things chronologically. Sometimes I talk about things grouped by part of the narrative, but with this one I'm just going to go through things in order. And it starts off quite interestingly actually with Martin looking for Eddie in the morning, and the next thing we know, Frasier comes in with Eddie. He's been on a walk with him. Clearly Frasier is in an incredible mood, and it's a really nice day. They go out on the balcony, and then we establish that it's leap year. It's a leap year, it's a leap day, it's the 29th of February, and Frasier's suggesting everybody takes a big leap. He thinks Martin should go to Montana to his friend's party because his friend was actually born on the 29th, so his birthday technically only comes around every 4 years. Daphne wants to get her hair cut, and Frasier is thinking of a leap of his own. And Martin actually does an imitation of Daphne, and I had two thoughts there. My first thought was, that's a really brilliant impression. He got the accent down pretty spot on and really mimicked her intonations and things. And then the other thing I thought was, I'm not surprised, because John Mahoney actually grew up in Manchester and also Blackpool, so it doesn't surprise me that actually he was pretty good at doing that accent. Niles then comes over. Apparently Maris wants to see him. He's very much fixated on sex, and Frasier tells him that what he really needs to do is sit down and have a conversation with Maris. I don't really have too many other thoughts on the Niles aspect of this story. I feel like we could have got a little bit more out of that, but at the same time, I think everything else we got was really enjoyable, so I don't mind too much. But I feel like the story with Niles, it felt a little bit flat, but at the same time, it's not like Niles' emotions are just ending in this episode. It's not like we'll never get more of his emotions surrounding the breakup of the relationship. We then go down to KCL, and Roz has apparently found her one true love on a bus, but the bus drove away, and with some prompting from Frasier, she delivers a speech on air about Gary to Gary, trying to find him, and he turns up. He does turn up at KCL, and it seemed like it was a really great moment. Roz was very overexcited. And then we have an element that I didn't expect, and that's the fact that Gary is married. And to her credit, Roz was not interested in starting a relationship with him, which I think was really admirable, and also I think really important here, because Roz is often seen as somebody who's quite happy to sleep around and sleep with many men, but it's nice to show that actually she'll only do that as long as it doesn't hurt anybody. So it's nice to know that she's not willing to sleep with somebody who is actually married. We then have Frasier practicing his aria. Martin comes in. The trip from Montana didn't work. There was a problem with the plane. And then Daphne comes in, and her hair is amazing. She does not think so. And it seems like everybody's leap of faith has gone wrong. And Frasier starts to worry if he should sing at this for this TV show. And, well, ultimately he decides to. And we end with Martin and Daphne poking a bit of fun at him and having a bit of a laugh with that, and that's basically it. And that's the crux of the episode. There's not really much else to it. As I said, I don't have that many extensive thoughts. Quite often with Frasier, I can talk at length about an episode, but this one, it's not necessarily lacking in substance. I just feel like not a tremendous amount happens, but it is very thought-provoking. I feel like this concept of taking a leap of faith at any day, but particularly on leap years, on leap days, I think is something that could be quite food for thought. Frasier does at one point describe it as a gift, and on the one hand, I agree with that. It's a day to get more work, to try and achieve your goals more, but at the same time, if you're salaried, it's just one more day you have to work for the same amount of pay as the previous February. Well, subject to pay rises, but you know what I mean. In some cases, you might just have to work an extra day without getting any more money for it. So it depends on what your outlook is. But in general, having an extra day in the year could be seen as a good thing. Maybe it's a nice way to look at things a little bit more positively. And certainly it's a pretty inspiring episode in that regard. But I don't have any more thoughts on it. It's definitely not a personal favourite episode. But that being said, there are some good moments, and I'm pretty sure it's an episode that I'll always enjoy.